The build that got me through both raids flawlessly. Let's get it. Hey yo! Welcome on IGWS's Games, the gamer channel that provides you a variety of entertainment and content. But in here, before I kick things off, I'd appreciate the love by y'all sharing and hitting those icons that need to click it. With that said, check out the social medias where I post daily and keep in touch with the followers. Now let go. Alright. Yes, this build took me through both raids flawlessly. So let's get into it and let me show y'all. It's pretty much a walkthrough of how I kind of approach each boss, all 8 bosses of each raid, and just walk you through the blueprint of a basic flawless build. Alright, it's time that I put out the raid flawless build. And yes, I mean raid flawless as in I use the same build in both raids. It's just the basic blueprint for both raids. So let's start with the specialization, and that starts with Demolitionist. Yes, I rock this on both raids, mainly for 2 perks, which would be the Demolitionist Tactical Link, which gives group members gain 5% damage to targets out of cover, and of course the Braced for Impact talent. Ignore explosions, can only trigger once every 60 seconds. Now with this helps out. Let's start with Dark Hours. Boomer, no. With Weasel, yes, Weasel shoots a grenade launcher. That helps you at least take the first nade if you're getting hit. With Buddy and Lucy, let's see, Buddy can get you with some explosives, and when Lucy goes into Berserk and Buddy releases the Seekers, you use the grenade launcher, shoot right at Buddy, and you can get all the Seekers in one shot. Now as for Razorback, you can survive those mortars. So getting hit once, if you get caught up in it, at least you got survival with taking the Brace for Impact talent. Now with Iron Horse, you have Boss 1, Gray. You have the mortars being shot, obviously. If you get landed with the mortar, you can take the first one. Let's see, Boss 2, nope. Boss 3, RPGs, if you get hit, it's not that often. And then Boss 4, Morozova. Yes, you have mortars pretty much throughout the whole raid, the whole engagement except for the first round. But you can survive those mortars. You have Morozova herself, if she gets off her rocket launcher or whatever the hell she shoots off, you can survive that. So, and you get to use the grenade launcher on Morozova to stagger her, to keep her from shooting off those said whatever she shoots off. But those are the 2 reasons why I rock Demolitionist for both raids. Now let's get to the build itself. So now let's get into the build itself. I already covered Demolitionist as the specialization. You want to use Concussion, really only just to get keys for Iron Horse and for keys for Dark Hours. So really the grenade means nothing except for Razorback, of course, where if you don't have Demolitionist to shoot the grenade launcher into the Razorback to proc the growth of Razorback, Concussion Aid is a nice substitute. Now as for the weapons, I have my close quarter weapon, which is the Scorpio, and we all know how fucking great this weapon is in PvE. For the mid to long distance range, I have the classic M1A. Oh, and by the way, with all these flawless runs, this was all before I even touched optimization station. So keep that in mind. Just because it's all optimized is not when I ran these flawlesses. These were back before then, and I just been a while since I got my ass to do this stupid build video. But let's go with classic M1A. It's got boomerang with damage to target out of cover. The pistol, I have the card, but that's only because nothing. I don't ever use the pistol. It never serves a purpose in the raid, so I keep that just card, who cares. So with the build itself, I got 3-piece Providence. I have 1 Cheska, 1 Grupo Sombra, and the knee pads from our Overlord, which is the Fox's Prayer. But let's go with the mask first. Providence mask. It's got, of course, the crits, and then the mod crit hit damage. Pretty simple. Nothing special about it. With the chest piece, I go with Unbreakable as the talent. Of course, the attributes are crits. Mod is crit damage. And with Unbreakable, just that extra survivability if you're trying to go for the flawless. Why not have Demolitionist take a nade or some kind of mortar? And then just to cover your ass, you got Unbreakable on top of it. Let's go to the Cheska holster. Of course, this is 1 piece to gain that 10% crit hit chance. And it's all crit with the attributes. Simple, plain. Fox's Prayer knee pads. Why? Because I have a rifle as my mid to long range weapon, which is classic M1A. So I got Fox's Prayer. Makes sense, you get that 10% extra rifle damage along with the 8% damage to target out of cover with crit hit damage. By the way, this is very easy to cap with crit hit chance with this build, including of course having your shade level already hit 1,000, so you have the additional crit hit chance 10% maxed out and the additional 20% crit hit damage with your watch. Now on to the Grupo gloves. Nothing special. Wearing 1 piece gives you crit hit damage for 15%. And then of course, with the attributes, say it with me, crit and crit. With the backpack, and again, I wasn't rocking the gift at this time. At that time, I was just rocking a Providence backpack with the talent Vigilance. Recently I ran into a really good gift, so I just switched that out for now, the current runs. But that comes with Vigilance, which increases total weapon damage by 25%. And I think Vigilance was what, 15, 20, something like that. But this is perfect to go with just those 3 seconds. It may seem long, but when you're actually in combat, 3 seconds is practically almost a reload and like an additional second staying in cover. So you get that Vigilance talent procking a lot, especially when you got a shotgun and a rifle. Those apply those staggers to the NPCs, so you're getting off a lot of shots where they're not returning fire, and hence you keep Vigilance procced. But of course, the attributes are crit and crit with the mod crit hit damage. Now let's see with the skills. I'm rocking the Revival Hive. This is that 3rd wave of survivability, at least for going for flawless. You can go in a down state, you just can't go unconscious. So having the Reviver Hive is just that last resort when you do, if you do go down, you got the Revival Hive and hopefully nothing jams it and crushes it to make you go unconscious. And that's where it plays for teammates to be well aware when an agent goes down to get them while they're in their crawl state. And then as for the second skill, that's more on the user itself. I would say for me, I always pretty much rock Striker Drone with either the Striker Drone, my bad. I either get Striker Drone or the Healing Drone, which is called the Fixer Drone. That's for more of Boomer, Buddy and Lucy, depending on the role I play. And that's it. But other than that, it's Striker Drone or Chem Launcher. That is the Splooge Launcher, the Riot Foam. And that is only for Morozova, and that's running rockets. Other than that, I'm having the Striker Drone or Turret. Yes, Turret comes into place with Razorback. Comes into play with Boss 2 on Iron Horse with Pfizer. And Morozova if I'm playing the DPS role. It's just mostly to grab aggro to save some time where they focus on the turret Then you get your pops, you get to pop off your rounds when you're ideally already at vigilance, so you're hitting pretty hard while they're fixated on the turret. And that's it for skills and any kind of role I'm playing. But to cover the stats now, as you can see, I'm capped out at crit hit chance, and no, I'm not going over. And then with the crit hit damage, I'm at 192 with the Scorpio. And then you switch to the classic M1A, capped, and trust me, it's not going over. I have it set perfect. And the crit hit damage is sitting at 209.3. So it's doing some work. Of course, I can make it better having glass cannon, perfect glass cannon, obliterate. But this is going for the flawless. Yeah, you could argue, yeah, you're taking down NPCs faster. But again, there's the times when you're ADSing, you have a mortar hit you, boom, and you've already used your demolitionist talent. Guess what? You're fucked. So rocking the unbreakable just makes the most sense. As for backpack talents, you can have composure, you can have companion, you can have overwatch, you can have quite a bit, but my personal opinion, vigilance does the most, because with the playstyle where you're running up on the NPC, since you're allowed to with the Scorpio, it's good to just have the vigilance. And that's about it. There's nothing special to this. It's the basic ass bitch blueprint for a raid build. It's strictly PvE. I mean, you can take it DZ, but you're not gonna have much fun. You gotta counter stuff, but as for PvE, running the raids, this is the blueprint right here. 3-piece Providence, Fox's Prayer, Cheska, Grupo. You could throw in Contractor's Glove if you want, but then you're kind of wasting that perk with the LMG damage. I never pull out an LMG, so I really just prefer to have Grupo or Cheska. With the Cheska, that gives me that cap right there with the additional 10% chance. And if you're having to substitute, look at that, 1-piece Grupo is 15%. I'll take that over the LMG damage. But that's the flawless raid build. And remember, back in those days, none of this was optimized. So after optimizing this all, yes, it's a really good build. But before then, there were some flaws to it. But yet, it was still doable to go flawless. Of course, it helps having a strong team along with you. But this, you can handle your own easily. That's it for the build. I hope this helps. I mean, I don't see anybody really trying to go after this anymore. I mean, the game's pretty much dead at its state right now, and we're waiting 14 weeks to get our new content. At least that's my theory. So yeah, critique it. I don't really care. I'm not much of a build guy, so at least for the Division 2, critique it, whatever. If you have questions, if you have some constructive criticisms, go ahead, show them in the comments section. Otherwise, I hope this helps at least one of you agents, and I hope y'all get that flawless. So as always, I say peace.